Hey everybody, what's up? David Burns here. Thanks for joining me for my live stream tonight. We have some exciting things planned tonight. Got a lot going on, and tonight we're going to jump into a hive and actually pull out some honey super frames. I hope that they're filled up, and then we're going to take them and start extracting them, cutting the caps off, extracting them, running them through a strainer, getting all that delicious honey into a bottle. So we have a lot of things going on tonight. Plus, I have a special announcement about an online class that we have online that we're going to make available free at a certain hour for all of you live streamers tonight. Now, some of you may not have this class, this online course. So if you don't, that'd be a great advantage for a lot of you. I'll talk more about that coming up. So we have a lot of things going on tonight, and a lot of cameras running, a lot of equipment to keep track of. So I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. So good to see you guys. All right, look at this. Got my gloves on, got my sting-proof gloves on. And a lot of you asked me, David, where do you get these? I have no idea. They're kind of rubberized with some canvas underneath it. And so when I have to work fast, not worry about getting stung at all, I just slap these on and I can go to work on them pretty good. But this hive behind me over here, it's a unique hive. It's one that has about a 15-day-old queen in it. She hasn't emerged out of her cell yet. Made a video a few days ago about that. But I'm going to stay up in the top super, and I'm going to really be surprised if I find a queen cell up that high. I think it's going to be down lower. Normally, I stay out of hives if they're raising a queen in a queen cell, like I pointed out in the video, because you don't want to separate frames and tear open a queen cell. So that's real important. So thanks, guys. Good to see so many familiar names in the chat right now. So thank you all so much for being a part of our live stream tonight. We're going to start calling this live stream, all of you guys, all of us, we're going to call all of us Beak Squad. We're the Beak Squad. Yay, Beak Squad. All right. We're all the Beak Squad tonight. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I really hope that I can find some capped over frames in that top super. Who knows? They haven't had a queen for a couple of weeks now. So, you know, I'm not worried about any brood being up there. And if it's not all the way capped over, I'm going to take it anyway, just so I can show you guys what to do. Now, this is going to be a good video for all of you that are kind of new to beekeeping. That's what my channel focuses most on, probably 1 to 5 year beekeepers. And if you've never harvested or extracted any honey, this is what I'm going to show you how to do today, how I do it. Now, I want to say this up front. I'm going to say it a few more times. There's a lot of different kind of equipment out there, a lot of different ways that you can actually get bees off of the honey supers. And this is a simple way that I'm going to show you tonight to do it. But I have made a lot of videos of other ways to get that done. You can use things like bee robber. You can use different types of, it's like an acid. It's a real bad smelling odor that you spray on there, or you can dribble it on there, run the bees out. I've made a lot of videos for you guys. They're still on there for you to watch on how to get the bees out of that honey super when you want to, you know, extract it. And so there are bee robber. I think it's called bee robber. Honey robber. I don't know if I have the right name, but I've made a video about it. It's my go-to way to get bees out of that super. All natural, doesn't hurt anything. It just runs the bees out because it smells bad. Then all the bees are off the honey frames when they're capped over. Thanks so much, Cody McGuire, for the $10 super sticker. I appreciate that. But you can use all different kind of ways. Tonight, I forgot my brush, but I'm going to find my bee brush, and then I'm going to brush the bees off of the frames, because I'm only taking a few. Then I'm going to take them into the extracting area. We're going to get them out of there today. So I'm going to grab my bee brush, and then I'll meet you guys back over here by the hive. Come on. Okay, here I am. And we're over here by the hive that we're going to take some of those frames out. Hopefully we can find some capped over frames in here. Always smoke the entrance. All the bees are home. It is a hot day in Illinois, 90 degrees today, not much cooler right now. I am sweating a lot. Well, these tops, I thought they would blow away, but they get sealed down, these plastic lids. Wow, that's a wake-up call. No way to be quiet there, is it? All right. I had a Bee Team 6 member today ask me, hey, my bees get louder when I smoke them. And I said, I think that's normal. I think they do. Can you hear it? Listen. Yeah, they rev up a lot. All right, so in a case like this, we're going to take at least 2 off to get rolling, maybe more. We'll see, because I'm gonna show you guys how to do at least 2 of them. So let me just smoke a little bit. Got my bee brush ready. This is the hive that we looked at in live stream a few days ago. I'm out of breath. I had to hustle to get my bee brush. Ooh, that's heavy. That's good and heavy. And so they're still queenless. And there is a capped over frame of honey. Let me get that up by the camera. Look at that. Wow, isn't that beautiful? Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my bee brush. This is one of the ways you can get bees off of your honey super frames, is just brush them off, right? All right, so brushing bees off, kind of like, let me get that where you can see it better. It's kind of just like flicking them back down onto the frames below them. Sure, some of them are going to fly a little bit, but you know, you kind of really don't care. There's not that many bees usually that are on honey frames like this. Not much to do up here, right? Okay, got one. I got a little deep box over here. I'm putting them in. All right, let's smoke again. That helps get some bees off. So let's see what we got. They do get louder when you smoke them. All right. I am sweating. It's so hot out here. Forgot that I had a 9-frame hanger in there. So I got to lift these straight up before I can slide. This one's really light, so it doesn't have honey all the way through. Let's take a look and see if we would take this or keep it. Not much to take there. And let's go across and see what we got. And unless it's really capped over pretty far down, I'm not real excited. Same thing here. Look at that, empty queen cells up in the super. Probably from a long time ago, maybe. My smoker is working too good. I can't breathe anymore. My eyes are burning. Let's get that smoker out of here. I'm gonna put it over here. If your smoker is bothering you, you can lay it down on the ground. If you lay it down, it's more likely not to smoke as bad, especially around the top. I'm hoping that as I get over here, I'll find one more well capped over frame. We'll see. Not happening so far. Everybody start hoping. Gonna make our night easier. That last one is capped over nice, like it was on this end. All right, I'm almost there. Let's see what we got. These J-hook hive tools are money. They work so good. I love them. We still got some work to do to get more honey filled up on these center frames. Oh, I hit the jackpot. Thanks for hoping me for the best. Look at that. Capped over on both sides. Monster cappings. Take your brush, just start flicking. Don't drag it, but flick like this. Yeah, I mean, like, wow, David taught me how to flick bees off with a bee brush or a turkey feather. They work good. For years, I just used turkey feathers. And I had a YouTuber that sent me some turkey feathers. So I didn't think about bringing them, but they worked really good. Sometimes I've used a wad of grass in desperate situations to flick bees off like that. Wow, that worked out really good. We got 2 frames that we can use to show you guys how to extract. We put this over here in the deep. Now, doing it late at night like this is kind of nice because most of the bees are flying around their home. They're not flying around as much. They're all here, so I wouldn't have to worry about robbers coming over to this box of empty frames. I took 2 out. Let me put 2 back in here. I think I got some in here. Okay, so this can be bad right here. This gap will fill up quickly, but I'm not going to have to worry about it until after the live stream. They won't fill it up that fast. But if you didn't put 2 frames in here, they would attach new comb to your top cover and you're going to cry forever. So please understand, I'm just doing it temporarily because 2 super frames aren't near me right now. I'm going to put 2 in there in an hour. Okay. And here's an example of the propolis seal that holds these plastic lids down. So I don't have to worry so much about them blowing off. You understand? I'm going to come back and put supers in there, 2 frames. Okay, guys, going to meet you indoors. All right, you guys hear me now? All right. Got a little echo.
Yeah, you can hear me.
Okay. You're going to need to answer a question. Can you just find that a little bit on your own computer? That'll help. Okay, so hopefully it's work out okay. Get a little bit of echo. I'm not sure why my camera not picking it up. This will work. All right, so what I'm going to hear, we'll take the piece here, Journal, is I've got
Cutting in and out, they're saying.
what's that?
They're saying you're cutting in and out.
Sorry about
It might be more important what he's doing tonight.
that. Yeah. I'll try to talk and you can hopefully fill in the
Yeah.
blanks. I could go get the other camera if you want me to and put that on the scene here. Let me go try that. All right.
Okay, we're gonna watch him run. There he goes. Oh, he's running smooth. DR just for you guys. You two share it. We don't hear me.
All right. You can turn your volume down even more. Now, how should I adjust the camera? Is it detail on the scene here? You know? Good enough? Okay. Well, you got probably have 2 cameras. I'm not sure, but echo. Let me turn this on.
I can't, Carol.
Can't do what?
Carol's asking me to move, but I can't do all this. I can't do all this technology stuff.
All right, Sherry, try to remove yourself. Maybe I can do it without bringing is facing this way.
Now
Okay.
I gotcha.
All right. So everybody can hear me now? Yeah, I think I can hear. So, okay, very good. Sorry about that. Okay. Now, back to business here. I want to explain some things because back in the day, I had some very, very expensive and elaborate honey extracting. I had a big automated system that uncapped my supers for me, big pumps, big cranes, lifts, and everything. This is like a backyard style. I know a lot of you may be tempted to say, oh, I use this and I have that and this works better. I'm just showing you how to simply go out to the hive like we did, pull some frames out, use stuff you have at home, you know, plastic tub. I got a piece of wood that actually is a piece that I use to raise queens with. I just shot a screw through it and ran this through my dado blade so that it kind of clips on to this tub here. So with it on the tub like this, now I can uncap it so that we can extract the honey out. So that's really the process of doing this if you've never experienced this before. Now, what does a screw do? The screw actually, let's use an empty frame. The screw actually just helps hold it there. It jabs into the bottom of this side of the frame. So now we can uncap it and it stays there. We can kind of rotate it, flip it over. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's take a look at this frame that we got. Now there may be bees on it. Don't worry about that. So I just take it like this. Now it's ready to be opened up, uncapped. A lot of people use heated knives, hot knives to melt the wax off. And I did forever. When I had an uncapping machine, it has these rapid blades that are auto adjust and they just take, it probably would uncap, gosh, 10 frames in a minute. I don't know how fast it would, but this is just, again, a backyard way to do it. I've got a serrated knife here that's got, you know, kind of like for a bread knife or something. And what I use is the guide on these pieces of wood of the frame so that I can take off just barely enough without going too deep. Does that make sense? Now, if you want to go up to get started, make sure your fingers are out of the way because if you go up too much, you're liable to slip and actually cut your fingers. Now, so what I'm doing is just cutting off the caps. That's capping wax right there. This is the best kind of wax to make, you know, melt it and make things out of. It's never had cocoons in it from the brood area. So it's very good wax. And now since you got a little bit started, you can just saw your way down like this and you can see how it's starting to run out simply because we're opening up the caps. Look at that. And I'm just letting it fall in this bucket. I will kind of like squeeze out or strain out the wax, separate it in the bucket and get more honey out than what we're getting right here. So you can see here that we've opened up that entire frame. A little bit around the edges. Now, some of you may see discoloration, and that is simply caused by maybe pollen that has been darker that was stored in there at one time. Could be brood that was in there at one time, or it could be a darker honey. So really hard to tell. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side, like that. Now, you can spend a lot of money, hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and buy tubs that are kind of made for beekeepers and beekeeping. But, you know, this works just as fine. I probably don't have maybe, I don't know how much a tub like that is costing, but not very much. I'm staying off the wood because this is pulled out pretty far. I just need to cut enough to open the caps up. Look at that. Isn't that great? Now, don't forget, we're going to tell you guys how to get one of our online courses free during a specific time tonight if you're just joining us. So don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss that. We gave away some free classes last week, and we had 50% off all online courses last week for 1 hour after the live stream. So we're trying to kind of our way of saying thank you guys for joining our live stream. That's great. Okay, so if you don't open all the caps up, that honey won't come out. That's one way to look at it. So you need to open up the caps. Now they make scratchers that look like a lot of forks on a handle that you can scrape that over with. But all right, now I'm going to move it over to our extractor. So let me kind of shift my cameras around a little bit. Make room for myself. All right. Pardon me as I walk in front of you. All right, there we go. So you can see here, this is what a little inexpensive extractor looks like. I'm just going to lay this frame straight down in there. All right. Now let's see. Sherry, does that want me to position this a little differently? Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. So we have that one. Now we have to uncap the other one. I thought I was done uncapping. Of all the beekeeping things that I do, believe it or not, this is not my favorite thing to do. This is my least favorite thing to do. I mean, it's fun and I like honey a lot, but this is sticky and time consuming and tedious work. You know, we're only doing 2 tonight. And sometimes I may, use bigger equipment. But if you're trying to do it with a little 2-frame extractor like this, and you have 50 or 10 supers times 10 frames in them, you've got 100 times. Both sides is 200 to uncap. Look at that. I need my little scratcher. I'm just opening up my caps here. Oh, small hive beetle. Let's kill that beetle. All right. So rewarding to kill a small hive beetle. Leave a comment if you love killing small hive beetle. All right. So here we go. Let's cut a little bit at the top because it's pretty wide. Look at that. This is a cold knife. If you use a hot knife, and they're very good. Pierce Beekeeping Company is the standard, the grandfather. They kind of came up with the heating knife way back in America, and they're still making them and repairing them today. And I've had them on my show. I've had them on my videos before. I've given them away before. Now, so look at that. That honey is kind of holding that wax on there, but we can get under and get that off like that. Okay. There we go. Now, let's keep going. Isn't this great? Look at that great honey. This will be on my toast tomorrow morning. Leave a comment if you eat honey on your toast. All right, that's ready. So let's come back over here. We're going to drop it in the extractor. Again, guys, this is a 1-frame or 2-frame extractor for deeps or supers. Just drop that in there. I'll come around there and play with it and get it balanced good. Okay. You can buy the extractor that I had for years when I was heavy into honey production only. That was about a 66 electric clutch extractor. And so you just turn it on and it would spin 66 frames out. But what we're going to do today is just do this by hand. This is not bolted down to the floor, so sometimes it's better if you can get your extractor and get it bolted down. And that helps a lot. Sometimes if you don't have a way to bolt it to the floor, you can actually take some tie-down straps, like if you're doing it in your garage, and you can wrap a tie-down strap around the barrel a couple of places onto one of your studs if you can gain access to the wall or something. All right, so why do we put these shields on? Well, when we're spinning it really fast, there's air coming up, and that air has droplets, microscopic droplets of honey in it. Your face will be sticky, your hair will be sticky. You won't feel anything but wind, but you'll soon realize that your arms and face and hair is sticky if you don't put the shields on. Now, this is a nice little extractor. And like I mentioned, when I evaluated the Flow Hive the other day, I actually said, you can buy these extractors pretty cheap. And so look at that. Wow. I'm going to show. I know some of you are like old hats at this, and you're like, oh, yeah, I've been doing that for years. But can you see how it's swinging against the wall? Isn't that so cool? Let me get this camera bent over. I want you to see down in there. Look at that. You can kind of get an idea. Take this cover off. I can take a shower later. But as we spin, you can see the honey is hitting the side. And it's wobbling a little bit because these frames aren't even in weight. There's no way to get that perfect. But what happens is the honey is extracted, is slung out of the cells. And as it is, then it starts going down the wall. and it settles on the bottom. Always make sure, very important tip here. Ready for a very important tip? Please make sure that your gate, the valve on this, is closed before you do this. Otherwise, all your honey winds up on the floor. It's forever gone. Now you can spin this as fast as you want to, but I'm not going to go crazy. I'm just going to do this about this speed right here. And then I'm going to let this calm down, slow down. And then I'm going to rotate the frames so I can spin out the other side. You understand? So what we're going to do now is take a look. Now this kind of got pushed against the wall. There we go. So let me show you this. Look how empty that is. And I haven't even spun it that fast. This side's still full. So we have to rotate the full side toward the wall so we can get both sides. Same on this one. Take that out and rotate it to the other side. We'll spin them again. We can get a lot of honey out of these. I brought a jar, and we'll see how much honey we can fill up that jar with, okay? So let's go ahead and spin this. Now we're spinning the other side. So start off kind of easy because it's slinging it out. The more honey that leaves the frames, the more balanced it's going to be because the weight is going to be more even. Look how I'm picking up speed. But now it's starting to be off balance. Now be careful with all of the parts here because the handle can really hurt if you slip and it hits your finger. And I think these shields are nice too because if you're a little clumsy or careless, you can get your hand there and you can break a finger. So there's a lot of weight, there's a lot of movement in there. So let's be as safe as we can. So it doesn't have to be spun 1,000 miles an hour, you know. Faster isn't always the winner, just consistent like this. All right, we got a good spin on that side, so let's stop it. And then what we'll do is rotate it back to the other side again. Because I was trying to get honey out of the entire frame before it spun that side as fast as I should have. Boy, it's warm in there. The honey is very warm, actually. It smells so good. We have a special connection to a smell. If you hold your nose up to the screen really close, you'll be able to smell honey.
It's a scratch and sniff.
It's a scratch and sniff screen. Now, okay, those of you that trust everything I say to be true, I'm kidding. That doesn't happen. Not yet, anyway. All right, now we're spinning out that first side because I had to take that a bit slower because there was so much weight on the opposite side. Now I can speed up this side. Look at that, right? Cranking it up. All right, all the honey is out that we need to get out. Just the way it is. Now the two frames that are in here, I'm going to put them back in right after the broadcast, and they're called wet supers. Because what's going to happen, the bee is going to be attracted to the wet honey, the open cells, and they're going to want to put more clover honey that's really blooming well right now. So let's take a look, see what we got. Okay, let's take a look at this frame. I'll show you both. Look at that. Got a little pollen in there, but that's fine. You want a little pollen in your honey. Not much of it came out, but look, those are pretty much empty. Can you see that? And some of you may be wondering about these, the rails that were in the cage. The bees will level that off and make that perfect again. It bothers them as much as it bothers you. They will repair that. But that was a good spin. You see that? All right, good. Now I want to show you something else. Not sure which camera to use, but I'll start using this one here, I guess. Let me show you what it looks like down in there. So you can see down in there, there's honey deep down in the wall there. So give me a minute because I need to adjust the cameras so that we can actually strain it. Okay, so I'm going to use this camera right here, I think. And I'm going to make it a little bit closer to the spigot. Thanks again, guys, for watching. I appreciate you being here tonight, being patient with us with the microphones and the cameras, settings, and all. Yeah, that's fine. Now I'm just adjusting my camera legs on my tripod. I've always told you guys I'm a one-man show, so when I have to do things, it's...
Hey, what am I? You're a one-man show.
Usually,
what am I doing here?
Usually, thank you, Sherry. You're such a big help. Usually in the field, though, I'm a one-man show in the field. But Sherry helped me make a video a few days ago. It's so funny. Sherry said, David, one of your hives is swarming. And we went down there. It wasn't swarming. And you won't believe what they were doing. You've got to watch that video coming up in a few days. All right, Sherry, does that look okay? Okay. Okay, so now we have an opportunity. I have an opportunity to show you guys what I'm kind of doing here. So the honey is in here. Now it will continue to fall off of the walls over time, over a day or two, maybe one day. Now these are strainers. They're not filters. Now depending on your location, like where I live, well, I'm just doing this for my own self. I'm not selling this honey or anything. But you have to follow the laws, like public health rules, county rules. What's the law in your county? What's the law in your state? Sometimes you have to have a food sanitation license. Sometimes it's under a cottage license, so you can make your own honey and sell it, and they don't care. But you're going to have to, don't ask me to tell you where you live. I can't. You're just going to have to figure that out. But so what I do, I don't like to filter honey. I like to strain it. These are strainers. Now, they come in different microns. To understand micron, a very small micron, smallest would be 1. And that's what I use in my water in my house. It filters out almost everything 1 micron. These, like this, is a 600 micron. I think this is either 200 or 400. I can't remember now. But you can see that 1 is a lot tighter. So I like to start with the one that's a little bit wider. So this may be about, let's see, 2, 4, 6. I think this might be 400. Could be a 600. Okay, so what we're going to do now is put it in. Oh, this is just a food grade bucket for honey. It has a honey gate built into it. Make sure that's tight before you open the valve up, okay? So let's take this, and we'll put this in the bucket. Now, why would I do this now? Because there's wax, little things that came off my frames that's in the honey. And so I can just strain it so that I have a more pure product. So let's go ahead and open it up. Are you ready? Where is it? Here it comes. I tilt it over.
Enough.
Yeah, I only spun out 2 frames, so I'm tilting it over to make it flow out. Look at that. Doesn't that look great? Oh my gosh. That is so cool. Here it comes. Now look at the pollen. Some of the pollen plugs are floating in here. They'll be strained out. Pollen itself is so small that pollen grains will be able to pass through this filter, so that's what honey is. Honey has pollen in it. Let's get this tilted more and more. Get as much as we can out. Oh yeah, look at that. Yep. Wow. It's going well. Yep. Like I said, there's a lot against the wall that will continue to drip down. A little bit cooler in the room here. It's about 75 in the house or in this training center. So it's actually hardening up, or kind of making the honey not run as fast as it might if it was 90 degrees. So that's one thing to remember too. If you want to really get your honey to move fast, keep it warm and it will move fast. Let me pick this up a little bit.
Wow.
I can't see where I'm at. Am I pouring it on my shoe?
No, it's good.
All right. That's good enough. Let's go ahead and continue on. Let's see. Very good. Yeah, I'm stuck a little bit. There we go. Wow, that ran through that strainer really fast. Let's lock this down, or it's going to drip on the carpet. Okay. So you can see here. Look at that. Look how fast it strained through here. Now, if you wanted to, like if you were doing a blue ribbon attempt at a state fair or something, well, you want to strain this a long time, many times, through smaller microns, and you want to keep straining it to get it as pure as possible. But for me, I want all of these different things in my honey So what we're going to do now, I'm going to adjust my cameras because I want to show you how to bottle the honey. So let's set it up on the table. Give me a second here. I'm going to put my legs out. Oh. I'm working hard for you guys tonight. Man, I'm sweating. Still sweating. Doing this on camera takes quite a bit of little work to do when you're other than just doing it not on camera. That look okay? Mm-hmm. I'm going to move this other camera. Are you still using this one, Sherry? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I think that's where your sound is coming. Okay. Set this back here. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. Whew. Yeah, that's good. Now, I have honey. See, I'm going to not make too much of a mess here, so let's set this right here temporarily. Oh, let's put him in there. I don't want honey to drip where I don't want it, but you can see that I've got all this honey and these cappings in here. I can put them on my strainer and allow this to drip out overnight. And in the morning, I'll get a lot more honey just out of this bucket. You can see, look at that. Look at that honey coming out of the bucket. Now, you've got to stick your finger in here and get a bunch. Oh, no, that's the best I've ever had. Wow. Oh, my gosh. What we should have done, we should have, what we should have done, Sherry, is bottled this and we could have given it away to somebody.
Nobody wants it now with your hands in it.
That's why I licked my finger first. No, wait a minute. Honey is hygroscopic, so it kills any bacteria. Oh, yeah, but we can drain more later. Look at my hands. Let me get some, I'm going to use the other side of the opposite of the knife to play some of this honey off my fingers. But I want to show you guys about, I want to teach you now about this. Now, you don't want to bottle this today. We're going to, because we're making a video, we're doing a live stream. Thank you, Sherry. But you want to wait about a week. I like to wait a week. Now, why would you wait a week? I want it to sit in here for a week because air bubbles and anything what we would call, I don't like using the word, so let's just say anything that's in there that's not honey is going to rise to the top. And so air bubbles will rise up to the top of the level. That's why if you wait a week, more air bubbles will rise up. Anything floating in there that you don't want in your honey, it's going to rise up. So when you bottle honey, you bottle off the bottom. That way you're getting less air bubbles or less things other than just honey. So I need to set this on top of something so that I can, let's see if I can do this. It's a little bit too high. That'll work. Let me get some camera adjustments for you. All right. So what we're going to do now is bottle this honey. You probably saw my thumbnail where I said we're going to go from the hive to the jar. So today we brushed the bees off. We took the honey supers out that were capped over. We brought them in, uncapped them, and then we actually spun them in an extractor. So now the honey's been passed from the extractor into this through a strainer, not a filter, a strainer. So now, everybody got a good scene, Sherry, here? So now we want to open this up. Now the level is only here because we only did 2 frames. And it's going to be a lot of air bubbles because that's how honey is. The air bubbles will settle out even in the jar. Now, if this was full to the top, be careful, it comes out really fast. But since it's not as much in there as you would think. But we'll get a good look on how much honey comes out of 2 frames that are pretty filled out. That'd be something good we can see right here. Uh-oh, it's going to be at least, is this a quart? Mm-hmm. It's going to be at least a quart.
About 3 pounds.
Wow, look at that. I can't, it's so heavy, I'm having trouble holding the jar with my slippery. All right, I've got to stop it there. There's more in there. Whew. Wow, look at that. Now, it looks so good. Let's put a lid on it. Now, it doesn't look completely clear. And why is that? It's because there's air bubbles in there. but it looks really thin because it was so hot today. I took these off, 90 degrees. It's upwards of the high 90s, this temperature. So the honey will cool off and be, but look how liquidy it is. Some of you might be thinking, well, David, it might be too liquidy. It may not have dried down well enough. No, remember, it was all capped over. So this is, the bees have decided it's 18, 19% moisture. So it's capped over and ready. Look at that. Isn't that great? Ooh, all right. Now I want to go out to my other computer, Sherry, and I'll meet you guys out there. Okay, here I am. Ah, great. It's good to be with you guys out here. I'm excited about the jar of honey that we bottled up. Look at that. Isn't that great? Those air bubbles. I mean, they're tiny air bubbles. They're going to settle down, but I probably won't give this honey a chance to get rid of the air bubbles. So I'm going to eat this up in no time. It's great. So look at that. A whole quart. I don't know how much more is in there. At least one more quart, probably. I don't have time to grab more jars, but I just wanted to take a moment and run you guys through the paces on that. So hope that was helpful for those of you that have wanted to see the experience. Let me just kind of remind you again, there's a whole lot of different kind of equipment you can buy. You can buy extractors that can hold up to hundreds of frames at one time, or just 2 frames at one time. Some, be careful, some extractors only hold super frames. The ones that I use here, it holds deep are supers. Deeps are 9 1/4, supers are 6 1/4. So, but if you you can buy some things, some extractors, and they don't tell you that they only hold a super, and you might actually have a deep full of honey that you want to extract, and it won't fit in your extractor. So if you're purchasing an extractor, make sure to hold deep frames if that's what you're going to do. So this was fun for me. Now, I made a video last week about the flow hive where you can turn a crank and it would fill this jar up. But as you can see, I had a lot of fun doing this. I've done this for 20, 30 years, and it's just a lot of fun for me to see that honey pour out of that jar. So anybody have any questions you want to ask me about extracting honey? We got a few minutes here at the end. I'll be happy to answer any kind of questions that you have regarding extracting honey, putting honey in jars. Yeah, I spoke about the laws of selling honey a few minutes ago, Michael, or see, that was Nate, I think. Nope, there it is. Oh, David. Did I say that? Sherry says, Sherry wants me to talk about laws for selling. Yeah, like I mentioned before, it's going to depend on your area. It depends on where you live, what the laws are in your area about selling honey. So is it a cottage law? Is it governed by the public health department, food sanitation? Do you have to have, your kitchen inspected? Going to depend on where you live. Jay Clark, Helton, good to see you. Thanks so much for your dedication and passion to help beekeeper community. Your efforts are greatly appreciated. Well, thank you, Jay. Appreciate that comment a lot. How do you clean out the extractor? Good question. I appreciate that question a lot because today I worked all day long getting the equipment ready. Here's how I clean out the extractor. I'll wait until I'm done with it, and I'll lay it out in the bee yard away from the hives, really far away, usually in the fall. And all my bees will rob it out, clean it up for me. Then I take water and a little bit of soap and clean it out. Thanks, Carol Livingston, for the $10. All the hard work David and Sherry, husband, and I received our ultimate beekeeping course. Oh, completion certificate. So happy we purchased it. If anyone's thinking about it, don't wait. That's great. Thank you, Carol. Yeah, so just soapy water. If you've ever worked in a kitchen, if you've ever had to food and sanitation laws, if you've ever taken that course, just soapy water is really all you need. Cold water works better for me. So just kind of clean it. Sometimes if you have a lot of dirty stuff in there, maybe you've left it outside too long and got moldy, use a tad bit of bleach. It doesn't take much. Thank you, Don Parter, for the $50 super sticker, and Robert Kaiser for the $20. You rock, David, for what you do and what you're doing. I appreciate that, guys. Wow. That's amazing. Yeah, so today I worked hard to clean all my equipment up, get it real nice and shiny. It's good. I have honey supers that I left out in the hives over winter. Is honey safe to extract and eat? Yes, Alan, it is. If you've left it out there all winter and you didn't use the any kind of chemicals that you're not supposed to use, like treatments that you're not supposed to use when honey supers are on there, if you didn't do that, sure, honey is honey, right? You can go out there and get honey if it's out there all winter. You can take a frame of honey like I showed you tonight, put it in the freezer. You can leave it there years. It will never change. And then you can extract it when you want to. I've actually harvested supers, didn't have time to extract them, shoved them in my deep freeze, did it during the winter. Is it okay to eat honey from a colony that has had nosema? Absolutely. Nosema will not affect you. It is only something that bothers bees. You won't be bothered by that at all. And, so no, that's no problem. Is there a way to extract foundationless frames? Foundationless frames. Okay. Yes, you could do the crush method. We could just take it and squeeze it with our hands and run it through a cheesecloth. That's one way to do it. Or you could put it in the extractor with maybe a tighter fence or screen on it. So it's pushed against the screen if you could cut it open and extract it that way. So you just have to be creative and figure out how to do that. Will it ferment if the jar isn't all the way full? No, it won't. Because the moisture level is already present. As long as you keep a lid on it, you're not introducing any more moisture or yeast. Air has natural yeast in it. So if we got down half to a half jar, I left the lid off and it's a humid day and I left it there for a long time. Yeah, it could start to ferment over time, but boy, it's going to absorb a lot of that moisture. Thank you, Philip, for the super sticker of $20. Hey, I really appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate it a lot. Lay some extraction questions on me. My bees have had their super for 2 weeks and haven't built a spot of comb on it. No queen excluder, 2 supers, both full. They've had the 2 supers for 2 weeks. Maybe you mean the bottom deeps are full. If you're having trouble with the bees on those top supers, pulling it out and putting honey up there, nectar up there, it might just be the area, the weather, and it sounds like you've done it right. You've done the right things, and it's just not happening. Could be where you're located. So it's hard to really guess why the bees aren't adding the nectar up there like they're supposed to. Make sure that they have a lot of brood. They need a lot of workers to go out there and gather nectar. So make sure your colony is strong, has a lot of workers. Oh, Wildwood Honeybee Farms. Hey, Grayson. What do you think about the hot uncapping knife? Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. I do like them. Here's my deal. Pierce Beekeeping Company stands behind their products. I think they make a great uncapping knife that's hot. And early on, before I got associated with them, my thermostats would burn up and it would get too hot and it would kind of burn my honey. But now they seem to have fixed that, or they're willing to repair those too. So a hot knife, instead of sawing it like I was doing, that hot knife just melts the cappings away. Is it better to put honey in glass or plastic? Look at my age. I'm going to say glass. I don't know, something about, my age. We're not real fond of plastic. I've eaten a lot of honey from plastic, don't get me wrong, but I like it in glass. If it's in glass, you can put it in a boiler. You can microwave it for 10 seconds. David, do you put frames back in the hive after you're done? Yeah, I took 2 frames out of here and I'm worried that I'm going to forget. So tonight, before I go to bed, those 2 wet supers are going back in that hive over there. Beautiful. How do you process your cappings? Well, when I had the big machine, all my cappings fell into a big basket and it was hooked onto a big crane that lifted it up and spun it. Actually put the baskets in a big extractor and it would spin it. But for backyard beekeepers, I'm going to let those drain and then I'm going to wash them with water after a few days. And that gets all the honey out. Wash it twice, rinse it, wash it again, rinse it, get all the honey out. Then I'll melt it down. I've got so much wax that I love playing with. Hey, Tom, good to see you. Gusty Gutsy video, David. Well done. Please explain how we can use the cappings to make wax. Yeah, the other day I've been doing a lot of gravel biking. Yay, gravel bikers! If you've never heard of that, it's kind of like road bike. I used to be a road racer on bikes. 10 speeds, 20 speed bikes, Tour de France stuff. I never did Tour de France, but that's kind of gives you an idea what it is. But now that I'm older and I live down a gravel road, I bought a gravel bike. Well, nowadays people are actually waxing their chains because the oil on your chain attracts a lot of the gravel dust. And so that's one of the ways I have a lot of wax. I actually take my chain off, dip it in wax for 10 minutes, put it back on the bike. Isn't that amazing? But you can take the cappings off, wash them out, melt them down, make candles. You can fix sticky drawers. You can put them on, put wax wherever you need it. You can sell it. A lot of uses. What micron screen did you use again? I always love to use either 600 or 400 because the smaller you get, the tighter it is. So I don't want to filter out everything. I like that good stuff in there. Hey, Tina, thank you for the $10 super sticker. Appreciate the $10 bill a lot. Wow. Tom Phillips, $10. Doing an inspection Saturday, had 6 frames drawn out, but it's been really hot this week. Do you think it will be time to add another brood box yet? If you're in a good honey flow, Thomas, and it looks like that, things are going well for your hive, 6 frames is right on the border right there. We think 5 to 7. The more you get past 7, they could potentially get too crowded too quick on you before you got in there and swarm. So you're at the right place. I think I'd throw one on there. Remember my trick though, pull one of the frames that has open brood on it, queen or no queen, put that open brood frame up above, push them together, and make sure everybody has 10 frames. And then that way you're baiting that top box because there's bees up there. Thoughts on using a heat gun for decapping? Already said that, Brian, but I'll say it again for you. I think they work great. Sometimes they can be so hot that it can make a burnt taste to me. I can detect that. But if they're thermostatically controlled, you can roll that down. You're wanting to melt the caps more than cut them. But I just like not having to use electricity and all the wires and all. Like I did tonight, that thing cut like just as good as a hot knife did. It's really good. Okay. Is a heat gun different than a knife, David? No, not really. A heat gun. Well, I should have. I've almost wanted to put one out here for you guys to look at. I thought about doing one frame with a hot knife, one frame with a cold knife. I should have done that. A hot knife, it looks like a knife, only it's got a wide blade where the heating coils go through there, electric heating coils. And it does usually has a little bit of a sharp edge, but not serrated like we're looking at on the cold knife. Angela, Adam, thanks for the $10 super sticker. I appreciate that so much, Angela. So it's still called a hot knife. And what I used tonight was a cold knife, just a knife out of the kitchen, a bread knife. So it's up to you. You're gonna pay a little bit of bucks if you buy the heating knife. I hear Sherry saying something. All right. So I can't tell what Sherry's yelling at me, so I'll keep going here. Okay. Shane's World. Why do bees festoon outside hive on landing board? What would make them do this? Is it normal or hot? Festooning is a little different than maybe what you're saying. Let me explain. Festooning is when bees hold each other's legs, hands, and they kind of stretch out like, that's festooning. If you separate 2 frames, the bees kind of hang on like that. That's festooning. What they do on the bottom board outside the hive is scrubbing the deck. Usually they vibrate back and forth like they're licking with their tongues. They hang out there. That's really not festooning, but they do that, because it's hot. What happens is it gets hot and humid at the same time toward the end of the day, and they don't want to burn the brood. The brood has to be about 92 degrees, and if it gets too hot, it can injure the brood. So it's like, okay, some of you need to go outside on the porch. It's too hot in the house. Get away from me. Give me some room. How long can you safely store pulled supers before extraction during the summer before pests like wax moths become an issue? Yeah, that is a really good question. Not long at all. Number one, you could have small hive beetle eggs in there. They're gonna turn into larvae and start going through your supers. You could have wax moth eggs that may turn into larvae and go through your super. So even though you don't see any in there, if there's eggs, you could lose it. So I don't like to keep it long at all. I either harvest it immediately or freeze it, and then I can come back to it. Buy a deep chest freezer, boom, you got it. I have one 10-frame hive, one colony. How much honey should I take? It's my first year. It depends on how much they produce. It really does. I don't know where you live. In Illinois, we have traditionally said that bees need about 70 pounds of honey to make it through winter. But I usually accomplish that with my winter bee kinds. So I can take all the honey off if I want to and just feed them 3 to 5 winter bee kinds, which is, going to be a pretty good amount of food for them. So they'll be fine. So it depends on if you're going to feed them or not. And it depends on how much extra honey they make. So if they make 170 pounds, you could take 100 off. Yeah, good question. Okay, so we're going to have to talk about this free giveaway that we're going to make available to you guys. So I'm not sure exactly what time. I didn't get an idea. Sherry, can you type in the comments the time for this class giveaway? It's going to be a class we're going to make available for live streamers tonight for a short window of time. So Sherry's going to post what time that's going to be, probably after the live stream, right? Okay, yeah, 8:15 Central Time to 9:15, 1 hour. We're going to give away a class. Let me tell you about this class. It's an online course. A lot of you taken my online courses. You may already have this one. It's not really worded correctly, but it's a day in the apiary with David. I filmed this and I had a friend that recorded the video for me. It's actually a day where I show you how to do, we're out in the field. So the video is following me. I show you how to do mite tests. I show you how to move a hive if you need to move a hive. I mean, we just walk through almost every little thing about, I walked you through in the day in the apiary how to extract honey and how to get bees off of frames and all that. But it's a very thorough course. If it's just like going out in the bee yard with me and spending the day with me teaching you almost everything I know that I can show somebody in the hives. It's really cool. So it's called A Day in the Apiary with David. It's going to be free. Okay. You're going to go online at 8:15. You do it now, you're going to pay. But if you go online at 8:15, and it's going to be available for free. You don't have to use your credit card, anything like that. Just go on there. And Sherry, go to honeybeesonline.com, honeybeesonline.com. Click on the link on the left. It says something like, I think it might be Online Beekeeping Academy, and search for the one that says 0 cost. And it's going to be A Day in the Apiary. That's going to be my gift, me and Sherry's gift to you guys for being great live streamers. It's our gift to you. I don't know if it's in the Ultimate series or not. I really can't remember. Probably is, but I can't remember. It should be. But anyway, that's our gift to you guys for being great live streamers, putting up with us, learning the ropes here. And it's only going to be for an hour. Now, let me explain. At 9:15, it's not going to be available anymore. So if you're watching this video the next day, I'm sorry you missed it. And we can't go back. This is all done automatically. It's done electronically. There's no way we can go in there and make exceptions. It's just electronic website stuff that can only be respected during that 1 hour. Okay. Yep. So that'd be good for you guys. Just in about 15 minutes. Everybody understand? 8:15 to 9:15 Central Time, giving away A Day in the Apiary with David, just as our way of thanking you guys so much. It is now 8 o'clock. Been a busy day for me getting ready for this. I'll tell you what, I'm glad we pulled it off. I was worried a few moments when I couldn't get sound going and all that, but thanks, guys. I love you guys. I thank the world of you for being a part of my YouTube beekeeping channel. I'm pretty confident that I have the oldest, longest running beekeeping channel on YouTube. Somebody has to prove me wrong, but I started in 2008 in August and been running all that time making videos for you. You can watch me age right in front of your face. I got a lot more videos to make. Tomorrow I'm going to be publishing a video, and this weekend. So I got a lot more videos to do. And get this, I have a horizontal hive. It arrived. It's beautiful. I'm going to take you through the ropes of a horizontal hive, putting bees on it this weekend. So be sure and check out my website, honeybeesonline.com, and be sure and watch my YouTube channel. I appreciate it so much. Thank you, guys. I'm going to say goodbye. I'll see you next time. You can close us out, Sherry.